What's up guys, my name is Rylan and this video has been a long time coming. This is going to be an update on how my BMW M235 is doing with the tune I put on and all of the modifications. So I've had these modifications and the ESS tune on for 3 years now. So it has been quite a little bit of time, and I've had this car overall for 4 years, and it still puts just as big of a smile on my face as the first day I got it and the first day I put all the modifications on. So I want to do a quick walk around of this vehicle and show you how things are aging on it, and also I'll be discussing if I've had any problems at all with it where I've had to bring it to dealerships or whatnot. I'll be talking about a little bit of that, and of course I'm going to show you a little bit of the driving footage, start it up so you can hear that beautiful exhaust purr once more. I know it's been a long time since I've even had this vehicle featured on my channel. Alright guys, so starting off with the side profile of the vehicle, and the paint has aged pretty well. It is prone to some like scuffing if you hit your door on something. I was parking in an apartment parking spot, so there was like a little divider between parking spaces, and sometimes when I was in a rush or whatever, I would open my door too fast and kind of hit it, even just gently, just love tap it a little bit on the pole, and it would scratch off some of the paint. But besides from that, the paint's held up remarkably well. It still gleams, especially when we put that nice little polish on it, and that's to be expected, of course. This is an expensive car and it should have an paint job to match. Okay guys, so as far as the front of my M235, from far away, like not far away, from 10 feet out, it looks super nice, and the paint looks like there's no defects on it at all. But this has been chipped up quite a few times, and I'd highly recommend getting a clear bra for this vehicle, especially if you lower it. Now, as far as the engine goes and reliability with 3 years of a stage 1 tune, it's been a pleasure to say the least. There's been no issues whatsoever with this vehicle, with the engine. Spark plugs I do have to change pretty frequently thanks to that tune, and you should just change it anyways pretty frequently when you're running a tune, especially if you plan on keeping your car for a long time or care about the engine at all. Alright, so as far as the interior, and everything's still looking really nice. Granted, I have taken care of it. I've washed the interior quite a bit recently, not so much, but it's still holding up remarkably well. I don't eat in this car very often. I've ate in it a handful of times, so again, I'm not hard on the interior, but as far as how it's treating me from normal like wear and tear, it's solid. Nothing's faded. The dash hasn't faded or anything. The steering wheel does pick up some dirt even when I clean it. I'm not using the best products though. Basically, I usually use like an all-purpose interior cleaner rather than a specific leather cleaner. I did that back in the day. Been slacking off. So I'd say I could clean this steering wheel pretty much as good as it rolled out of a factory if I really put some time into it. But overall, just a nice little clean job. It still looks really good. There is like some scratches that happened along the wood trim. Same goes with like the piano black accents along the control stack. That is expected in every single vehicle that has piano black accents. They are notorious for showing up little micro scratches, especially under sunlight. Like the little screen that displays the air conditioning, or your climate controls, I should say, that has scratched up a little bit as well. But as far as all the things that would be concerning, such as the sills along the door and just panel fitment, everything is still 100% as good as new. And I'm happy to say that it's definitely, the build quality is solid, apart from a few scratches and, you know, the steering wheel kind of picking up a little dirt. The wear, a little bit of wear on the leather of the driver's seat where I use it, I get in and out all the time. Apart from that, nothing else, and that can be said as well from the seats in the back. Now, as far as substantial modifications that I put on this vehicle, minus you know, the cosmetics, like my spoiler and my front splitter that ripped off. I have an ESS tune, stage 1, and it has done remarkably well. It's not given my car any problems, the engine I should say, any problems, so really love that. Had it for about 3 years now, and yeah, solid. Put many miles on it, over 25-30,000 miles at this point. As far as the exhaust system, I have a full catless exhaust system. No problems there either, and it still sounds just as great as it sounded when it was first installed. And then I have KW V1 coilovers. Those have a little bit of an issue as far as it's basically the shock cover has worn out. It's like a little, I think it's like plastic or something that covers the shock, basically keeps the coils from touching each other. That's worn out on the left side of this, the front left. I believe it's the front left or the front right of this vehicle, so it does squeak a little bit. Now as far as the tires, I'm still using the original Michelin Sport 4S tires that I originally had 2 years back when I made my first video. So as a oh, I'm getting a call. Hey. Wow, no one calls me. Anyways, yeah, so 2 years I've had these tires, and they're pretty they're getting pretty worn at this point, but man, they've done just remarkably well. As far as grip, I mean, they're still pretty grippy. They are wearing out, especially in the back, of course. From a longevity standpoint, it's over 20,000 miles that put on these tires, and they're still going. And they don't look, they're not completely bald at all. Like, it's still safe to drive. It's getting to that cutoff, but it's still safe. So awesome tires, Michelin 4S, MS 4S tires. So I've discussed the exterior and the interior, how that's holding up. Let's cut to the fun stuff now and see how this exhaust sounds to date, and also go on a little bit of a driving run with this thing. Alright folks, so a little synopsis of the drive, and still such a fun car. And you know, when you want it a smooth ride, even with the upgrades that I have installed, it is still smooth. It's not too jarring at all. Definitely, like some of the bigger bumps, you get that rattle, you get that upset in the chassis, but it doesn't like skip around ever. It's very planted and handles amazingly well, and that power is still the same as I always remember it. It hasn't like died out at all or any of that. Same with the transmission. It's still a nice notchy feel, not too notchy, but you know exactly what gear you're in at all times. And honestly, like downshift rev matching, let's do this right here, boom, is an absolute breeze. And the throttle response, especially in sport mode, makes it a lot easier to get those nice little blip in the throttle and that downshift rev match. So 100%, when you're taking this car on spirited drives, make sure it's in sport mode, sport plus mode to be exact. All right, nice quick second gear pull. Oh. Oh my God. That never ever gets old. And we could have made that faster. That wasn't the best shifting, okay? I didn't even fully commit to the gas pedal, alright? Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Oh man, I can feel the power. Okay folks, well there was my quick little vehicle update for you after 3 years with the tune and 4 years of ownership. And again, it puts a big old smile on my face still to this day. It's holding up remarkably well. I have babied it, of course, so that does help. But yeah, it's an absolute joy to drive. It is practical, but most importantly, I still look back at this car every time I get out of the vehicle, and it's eye candy to me. still to this day, even though there's been, you know, the M240s have came out, and you got the M2s now and the M2 competitions. This vehicle still has a special place in my heart. So I'm very happy with it, 100%. And if you're in the market to get an M235, personally, I highly recommend you do so. They have been very, very reliable. You can go on the 2 Addict forums or any BMW forum, and that will justify their reliability as well, along with what I'm saying and my experiences. So it's a jack of all trades. If you can, make sure you get it in a manual transmission for that added extra fun. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.